A big shout out to our knowledge partners, Meraki Advisors, a real estate research and advisory firm in India. Hey guys, welcome to the RealtyLife podcast. I'm Swarnima Bavadeep, the founder and host of this podcast. We talk all things real estate and lifestyle. Today we have a very unique guest, Mr. Sanjeev, and he's going to tell you in 2 lines what he actually does.
Oh, 2 lines what I do. We run a place called Praani, the Pet Sanctuary, slightly outskirts of the city. The first education center where your kids could come and actually engage with a lot of animals and plants. And I think this is something you have to do for your child. Only then you will know whether your kid has the inner monkey with them.
That's a great way to start this off. Please like, share, and subscribe this video, and please go visit Praani. It's an amazing space and really the experience every child should have, I think. Hi, Sanjeev. Welcome to the RealtyLife podcast. I'm so glad you're here. I've been wanting you on the podcast for a while now. Just for the audience, I wanted to say why I chose Sanjeev to be on a real estate podcast is we view real estate as a very, narrow way as just residential or commercial or hospitality. And usually it's mostly homes and offices that we view. But I think how Sanjeev is using real estate for education and conservation is something that's different. So that's why I wanted to have you on the podcast because it opens up a new perspective for everyone to see. So tell us a little bit about what you do and what you do through Praani.
So this is again talking about real estate. It is a little scary industry, but I think that is something we really have to work and look forward. If we can transform that, because that's development, right?
Yeah.
So I think Praani is an example for. It's like a plug-and-play model. It's an education center. We have rescued a lot of animals. That's the whole foundation of it. And when you have a bunch of animals and a bunch of educators who are put together in the outdoors, the kind of learning outcomes which comes in is mad. So you can connect this anywhere you want.
Okay.
But if you just have to ask what we do in Praani is we have rescued quite a lot of animals. We have been running the helpline number for Bangalore urban wildlife. So if you have snakes, if you have birds in the city, you usually get our number, and we've been doing that the last 15 years.
Oh, lovely.
In this whole rescue, we have also picked up a lot of exotic, invasive, and pet animals which cannot be released back in the wild. So according to the law, if it is exotic, it is usually euthanasia, basically euthanize it, because you don't want to put our funds into taking care of another animal which in another country is least concern.
Okay.
But if you just go to the ground reality of just being humans and having that sympathy, they're finally another animal too.
True.
So wondering what are you going to do with these rescued animals, especially if it is wildlife, it gets released.
True, yeah.
But if it is domestic and pet, so that's how it started off, and that's when I took a turn of why can't we use them as education? And that thing is like, it's a world which is unexplored. And I think that's the future.
Oh, lovely. So I'm guessing it's a very experience-based education because, people come to there to interact with the animals. Take us a little through how that kind of works. I know it's a pet sanctuary. So tell us what exactly the space is and what you guys do there.
So first, you can call ourselves as an extended classroom.
Okay.
We work with a lot of schools, and that's what we really want to do. On a long run, we want to cover 30% of their curriculum without using like a blackboard. Animals and outdoors become the teaching tool.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Because I really hate the classroom environment, and it doesn't work. You can't put 50 creative kids in front of a blackboard and have one teacher to match all their energy
Cater
levels.
To everyone.
Yeah, it's impossible.
Yeah.
So I think this is a nice classroom. Like Praani itself is a very nice classroom. And also to add on to it, we have different multi-layered modules. So if it is grade LKG, UKG till first standard, those toddlers, we have more of show and tell and touch and feel.
Okay.
So we give them a rabbit, they understand the whole heartbeat of a rabbit, they understand the eye, and we break some major myths like rabbits don't eat carrots.
Yeah.
You'd never lift a rabbit by the ear.
Yeah.
Things like that. That's one thing. And we also work with their fear. A lot of these kids have no clue what to do. And that becomes their first step, the first relation, the first bond they have between animals. I think that's Praani.
Okay.
For slightly higher kids, we do something where we take them around. We have done a tour around Praani, which takes about 2 hours.
Okay.
And again, they get introduced to reptiles, they get introduced to fish, hoofed animals, birds, and basically a trivia of what they are and why is it important for us. So things like that. And I don't think in India as of now any zoos or any other sanctuaries or pet parks or whatever you want to call yourself have ever done the educational twist.
True. I mean, it's just like in a zoo, it's very, one sided. You just go see the animal. It's in a cage, not like you said, in the most, conducive habitat for it.
It's
Nothing against zoos,
heartbreaking.
but yeah.
But if you look at the concept of zoos, it's beautiful. It's something what we do. It's just over a period of time, the zoo, the moment you hear a zoo, it's like sad animals in a cage. But that's not what zoo is. If you look at the reason zoos were established and if they follow their protocols, I think it'll be one of the best learning centers.
Oh, lovely.
Okay. It's just that the market, the industry, the way the zoo is being run and their outreach programs or their atmosphere is created like we don't want to go to zoos.
Is this only in India or is this something that's international now?
Of course there's a very fine line in India. There are a couple of zoos which are good, but they're not doing anything when it comes to education or outreach. That needs to change. Also talking about the whole zoo as a concept, I know a lot of people around the world will not accept. I think that's a very fine line between people who would understand captive management, people who are activism, people who wants to do wildlife conservation. They all have a different mindset, so you can't they are right in one way, but if you're looking at somebody who's into captive management, I'll ask them a question: how are you going to rewild the forest if you don't know what this animal is going to eat?
True.
Yeah, so it's just going around and planting a couple of trees doesn't make sense, or it does not going to create a forest. So we have to know what species are there, what are they eating. For that, you need to have them in captivity. So there is a very fine line. You need that information too. So I think that itself in India has not been well established. People are only considered animal lovers. Now you need to decide, go to the next level. Okay,
what kind of animal lover are you? Okay.
And everybody is important.
Lovely. I mean, how did you get into this though? Because I mean, what did you start off as, and then how was the journey? Just little snippets so that we know how you've transitioned into starting Praani.
Very quick, got kicked out of 8 schools. So I think that's where it all started, the inner Praani instincts to come out. Okay. And I was a very high energy kid. Even now I am a kid with high energy. So somebody who could channelize that was a person called M.K. Srinath. We had this NIE newspaper in education every second Saturday. And this guy just walked in. He said he needs a volunteer. So I was the shortest sitting in the front. So I said, okay, we'll go. And then we walked all the way out of the school. And then he had this car open up and he had a crocodile baby. He said, can you please pick it up? I said, no way. And he was holding on to 2 picnic baskets. I said, no way I'm going to do that. So he held the baby like this. And then I took the picnic baskets from him. We walked back about 10 classes and every class just looking at him through the window, pin drop silence. I think that got me, that. And then he used the word rescue. And that's when it's like, oh, there is something like you can actually rescue an animal. He'd rescued it in Hebal Lake. So it had got caught into the fishing
Very much
net.
Part of the city now. Yeah.
After that, we have got more than 10-15 crocodiles inside the city. They keep it as pets. Once they grow bigger than an aquarium, they dump it in lakes and rivers.
Oh, no.
Okay. Yeah. So these guys, this was caught in the net. So he explained about it and, beautiful. And then he said, give me the picnic basket, and popped out 2 big cobras. And I was holding on to that. I was like, what? That was my first experience, I think, in 7th grade. Post that, I've been going back to him. He used to run a place called Mini Zoo. Even now, if South Bangalore guys would know, Devagowda petrol bunk, just after that there's a bus stop called the Mini Zoo bus stand. Nobody had a clue why is it called, because of his house was there. It was just his house. I think it's because of him.
Lovely. I mean, and also such a different space to get into, right?
Yeah.
And being exposed to it as a child changes how you view it.
It's changed my complete life. I would have not been what I am right now if I had not got that first introduction to animals. And I think that's also a huge drive for me to start Praani saying there's a lot more kids who are meant to be here.
Yeah.
By the time you're reaching college in 10th, you've already lost your monkey instincts. You
True.
can't be running
Yeah.
around being an animal.
I mean, you're running
So-
another rat race, which is, of course, life.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you tend to miss out on these things.
Yeah.
I mean, at least our generation, I think, had some scope for us to actually interact with nature. The next generation really needs a designated space where they can come and do this.
No, man, I think the next generation or this generation needs it as a part of their education system.
Okay.
If we don't do that change, if we don't add animals, wildlife conservation as these key, including water ecology, water conservation, if we don't add these kind of key subjects in our education system, I don't think we are going to do anything.
That's a
It
wicked
doesn't
problem to
make
solve.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense at all. So I think that's the big change, which no parent want their kid to be the guinea pig. Every time I say, oh, they should quit school and just work at Praani and they'll figure out everything.
Yeah, but that is radical for a parent.
Yeah, but I think that's the future. Like if you experience it, there's a lot of homeschooling community which is coming up. We have convinced more than 100 parents to just, pull their child off school and they're doing way better. It could be sports, it could be anything,
Yeah, whatever they're good at. Yeah, true.
Yeah.
What are the kind of struggles to start Praani? Because I can imagine this is not a mainstream business where you're starting a shop or a store or
investment. You go to a bunch of people and say you want to have some goats and sheep and do an education center, give us some money. Everybody's like, what?
Yeah.
You think I'm a fool to go invest on goats and sheep and cows at the market? So that's one. But more than that, I think the concept, you have to decide on a lifestyle. It can't be 9 to 5. You can't. So the moment you're saying, okay, I want to open something like this, you have to learn about animals. You have to know what they're doing. You have to have that networking and you have to be there. It can't open up somewhere, have an office and work and send people. That will never, ever work.
You have to live the life. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's very, very important. And two, also in India, a lot of laws and a lot of, again, I told you, people don't know to identify the difference between a pet sanctuary, a zoo, a rescue shelter. For them, everything is cruel or everything is okay.
Yeah.
So
or they're indifferent.
Yeah.
Like someone
let them
like
be
me,
where they are. I am going to be where I am. Do you know that
guilty as charged? Because I mean, till I actually, when I visited your place about 3 years ago, I was very indifferent. I was like, okay, I have a pet at home. I love the pet, and that's my extent of my understanding. So I mean, this is. And also, with just the small conversation we had, there's so many tangents we could take off in this podcast.
Yes.
But let's touch up a little bit on everything.
Yeah.
One is you said investment. Now, how do the numbers look? How does the business run?
Of course, the moment you are successful, you have ran it for 7 years. There are about 7 centers trying to come up in Bangalore.
Yeah.
And again, I'm like, oh, so nice that, some people like this have started. Even if there's 50 centers around the city, it will still support.
Okay.
You understand? I won't take it as a competition.
Yeah.
I would I'm super upset only on one thing, that they're buying animals.
Oh.
So what
they're not rescuing
exactly, then what is the point?
Then it's a shop that bought something to display.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And now slowly I'm also seeing the whole change in my clients who are coming and say, we went there and they had 4 beautiful macaw. I said, yeah, they're costing about $1.50 and nobody wants to rescue a macaw and give it to us.
Yeah.
So till then a bird comes into us, we're not going to it's easy for us to, just go buy birds and come back. We don't want to do that.
Okay.
I think that's, if they can accept this and if they can take only this as a challenge, of course, they'll be much more meaningful.
True.
And trust me, there are enough animals to get filled up. We have been getting a lot of calls and we have been giving away a lot of animals. We have an adoption policy too.
Okay.
We have given it to centers. A friend of mine wanted to set it up in Gujarat and he called, we spoke, it's QI Sanctuary. So we sent all our rabbits, all our, set up because we need it as long as you're doing it as an education.
Yeah.
As long as
and it's a good home, for them.
It should not just be bunch of people taking photographs with animals. That is something.
That's not interaction, that's show.
Yeah, but
In some
you
ways.
as a client or we who's walking in, we should be able to know where we have to go.
Okay. Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah, I know
Because the
what you mean.
people are
Yeah.
walking in are completely clueless what this is. So if I say this is how Praani is rescue, if I add in those words, they will go back with those words.
Yeah.
If I say animals are just good looking and colorful, you can come and do a photo shoot
Yeah.
here,
That's
they're
the
going to
messaging.
consider that.
Yeah.
And yeah. So I think that message needs to be very, very important.
And you said rescue, so I'm guessing you have a network to bring these animals in.
Uh,
Because you can't be in 10 places at the same time, right?
We've done that also. That's how I broke my back. But yeah, we do have a good set of volunteers. We have well-wishers and also a core team which we created in 2008, 9 and 10.
Okay.
We were the first team to be established in India who were faster than Domino's for a snake call. Okay.
Yeah, Domino's is not answering that call.
Yeah. So yeah, and I think that I run a helpline number 9742084335, and that's been active for the last 15 years. And every time that phone rings, it is something which we have to run for. Either it's a snake to leopards to crocodiles to.
It's also exciting, right? You don't know what's on the other end of the.
Yeah. It's also exciting and sometimes scary, not because of the animals, because of the kind of calls you're getting in the city, and it's just one person doing it, and you're only covering up Bangalore.
Oh my God, yeah. Yeah.
So
and what do you mean in the city, as in these are urban spaces?
My expertise lies in urban wildlife.
Okay. Oh, lovely.
Things in the city, and we have more than 50-60 species of them.
I can't even point out 5.
Not 50-60, I'm talking more than 100, including the birds and the reptiles. We have about 100 species right inside the city, easily. And these are well adapted to our tall raised buildings, to our sites, to our roads, to our structures, and they live among them. Yeah.
This is why I said, you could have someone like you in a real estate podcast because they coexist with us.
Absolutely.
Everywhere.
Absolutely. Yes, I can give you certain key stories on how massive real estate projects have failed for simple landscaping faults. Every time 11 o'clock, I used to get a call in Electronic City, Infosys. Every day, between 11 to 12, they see a snake in the morning. And that's when people are flocking in, They're like, what are we doing it? So we're like, how many times are we going to pick? So we went there, stayed there, observed what they do. Solid at 9:30, they put the sprinklers on.
Okay,
so it's nice, cold and hot, which I would want to go and just stay there and have a sun bath.
Yeah.
So we just asked them to move the sprinkler timings in the evening, which will also avoid evaporation of water. Okay. And you have your frogs.
So it's an entire ecosystem change for
so they just did that, and we don't see snakes. Of course, there are snakes. That doesn't mean it's become snake proof.
Yeah.
But at least you have minimized the conflict.
Oh, wow, this is a new thing to think about, honestly.
Yes.
I mean, we just put on the sprinklers based off when it can be put on and when there are not a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I mean, this, I guess, a good way to merge these two.
Yes. As simple as that.
Sanjeev, we've touched upon different aspects. We did the how to raise investment for this, or the actual networking and rescuing animals. Let's touch a little bit on what are the laws and policies that govern this particular act, venture, whatever you want to call it.
So first, I would want to call it adventure, not a venture. First, I don't think there's any laws for a particular adventure we are on right now, and we're really waiting for them to do some laws. Because right now the law says that you cannot have any native animals, anything which comes under the Wildlife Protection Act of India, WPA 1972. All the animals have been listed there. You cannot have that.
So you can't keep them in an enclosed space?
Not at all.
Okay.
But anything else is kind of legal. It doesn't say it is legal. There is no law at all. So now you can decide whether it's legal or illegal.
Correct, yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So first confusion is here in the pet industry. So a lot of people have been importing pets because there's no law, no? You can't
True.
say.
Yeah.
And now neither India can sit and make a world law. Because you will go to Africa and pick up something, you'll go to Australia and pick up something. Now, how are they going to? So then that comes back into import and export.
Oh, okay. Oh, it comes under their jurisdiction. Yeah.
Okay. So now you need to have import papers, you need to have X, Y, Z. What if you've smuggled it?
Yeah. And I'm guessing
so if it
huge
is
portion
already
of it is.
if it is
Yeah.
already 80% of it is okay.
Okay.
So now if it is already into the country, what does an export import guy want to do? He's already there, right?
Yeah.
So he's not going
What
to
do you do
catch you
about
on
it?
the way. So now again it comes to the forest department, and the forest department has no law. You get it? So
Yeah.
it's a very fine line. So that's why now people would say, okay, then I can also go to an aquarium shop or a pet shop, buy whatever is there from there, and set it up and have a ticket counter.
But then, yeah, kind of defeats the purpose, right?
How is it defeating? So are you saying pet shops are illegal?
No, they're not illegal.
This
but
is the
in
same
terms
fine
of-
line.
Yeah.
We have to clearly understand what are pets, make certain rules and regulation under pets. Right now, it's only dogs and cats, and India is still opening up to having a dogs in the community. Like your marketing strategies in our
Yeah,
apartment,
yeah.
we allow dogs.
Yeah, pet-friendly communities.
Like what?
Yeah. And what kind of pets they don't specify.
Yeah. Okay.
So I could take something from Praani and say that's my pet.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they
Yeah.
should be able to accept it.
Yeah. So now again, this is one. Two, what are pets? What are domestic animals? What are exotic animals? What are wild animals is also a very unsaid rule, because in other countries they're 50 years ahead of us.
Oh,
In
okay.
countries like America, you can keep anything you want.
Okay.
Because they know that this industry is big, not only financially, but also has a huge potential, has a lot of research papers have come out on captive management.
Yeah.
We have discovered a lot of animals' behavior which we never thought it would have ever been possible. All this is again captivity. And now in captivity, it also goes to research. I have
True,
seen
yeah.
two monkeys with a positive wire in the right brain and a negative wire linked right to a laptop, and we are
Doing research.
so now I don't know whether you should allow that or not.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a fine line
Exactly.
about what you're doing with them also.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. And now if you're saying, oh no, we should not allow that, how are you going to get into the medical industry? Every tablets, every medicines, everything has been tested.
Tested on animals. Yeah.
And we need a guinea pig.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll have to have our kids, okay, why don't you get tested?
Yeah.
For the,
Yeah,
it's
human
not
testing
good.
is not, yeah,
Who's decided that? Human testing is not right?
humans.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we
Yeah.
have basically modified and adjusted a lot of these according to our will and wish.
Okay.
And now this is not just from the last 10 years, from thousands of years. Cows have been domesticated.
Yeah.
Dogs have been domesticated. So in Rajasthan, it's okay to keep a camel. In Karnataka, you can't keep a camel. So now what are these laws?
You kind of need to segregate and say, okay, this is state-wise also make a few laws, because some
Yes.
things are tied into our culture. Like Rajasthan has the camel tied into its
Yeah.
culture.
Yeah.
It's their mode of transport. You can't
Yeah.
change some things.
Yeah. But here it became a fancy meat to offer.
Yeah.
Camel meat for a while was very big.
So all the people who actually have, who collect, I'm using collect for a lack of better term, collect exotic animals and keep it, and it's a sense of pride and status right now. All those things are not governed by any laws.
See, again, in this also there are 3 to 4 people. There are certain collectors who really take care, like they've changed their they work so they can take care of their animals.
Okay. Oh, wow. Okay.
Okay, they're doing business and they're working themselves like every day, hard working, so that they can come back to their animals. I know a lot of people like that. I know people who have matched the money, meaning, and mastery in it. I am an ethical breeder.
Yeah.
I will do what is right. Even if the law doesn't say, I am assuming that these could be the laws
Yeah.
which
This is
they
what
should
should
come
be
up.
done. Yeah.
So I will follow that. And there are also people who will just come for the heck of it. Like, oh, I have had this. And few days, give it at a
So
move that
I mean, you should
animal.
have, I'm
So,
guessing, trained personnel for even captive management, like you said.
if you're not an animal lover and if you have not been with animals, if you have not raised dogs, cats at a young age, um, and not in constant touch with how they're thinking, what they're
Yeah,
doing,
yeah.
I don't think anybody would be able to manage with what we do for more than a month.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, not more than a month. So it's not like anybody would jump in.
It's
You
not a
know,
job as
not
such.
at all.
Yeah.
It's a lifestyle. And it's not like anybody can select. You have to have animal background. You
Yeah.
need to know. So that is again a big challenge for somebody who knows animal background. He'll only be in the forest working with animals and have no clue about business.
True. Yeah.
You have no clue about education.
This is the combination of both because you're in an urban setting.
Yeah, yeah. So then what happens? They're forced to start breeding these animals and selling it. They're forced to do, trading. They're forced to smuggle. And there's again no law.
Yeah.
So before it starts, let's do what we can. No, that is also there for a lot of people.
True.
So I think it's high time. Of course, there are a couple of huge changes which India faced a few years back. We are also coming up with the world's biggest zoo.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So that means
Where is this?
Just
you're not talking. That's fine. But I'm glad we're at least starting something like this.
Yeah. So a lot of people are starting, and now it's a very fine line. Does it make sense for people like us? Yes. If I was a kid when I didn't have anything to do, if something was there, I would have worshipped, lived there, and stayed there my entire life. So, and I know a lot of people like that are waiting to just
so go. It opens up doors. Yeah.
It'll open up doors for more than. It'll open a different market altogether.
Okay.
Completely a different market. But what is the outcome of such a big space is yet to know.
Yeah. The intention and the outcome is.
So, and I'm sure, it's going to be India's biggest. They've been thinking about everything, every terms. And I think captive management, and I think like more of pet sanctuaries, and I think more of these zoos start revamping, reconstructing their baseline foundation. It is going to be really, really, I mean, we're going to create a huge impact.
Lovely.
We are going to create a huge impact. Yeah.
And you guys aren't, I'm saying you guys because I'm saying it's different from the traditional real estate, are a small community, but a very passionate one at hand. So the impact definitely is going to be more significant than, just.
You have to wake up with looking at 30 kilos of poop in the morning. That's where your passion comes in,
That actually ties into what kind of infrastructure do you kind of build at Praani, for.
It look very, very simple when you look at it. Oh, what 4 walls, 4 barricades so the animal doesn't run away. It's a simple concept. But the kind of depth we have gone in is if a bird's pooping in, on what material does it poop in? Does it have pores to hold into the poop there? How are we going to disinfect? If somebody is brooming in, it should be easily. So then you will say, okay, let's put tiles so it'll be easy. The bird won't be able to sit there. It'll start sliding through, skidding. So, just choosing of the materials itself.
Makes a huge difference.
Yes. One. Second, it's not like you put a design and ask a fabricator to, build it. They'll have so big holes that, rats are going to come or you're going to release a bird. That happened. Somebody went and bought a macaw and then they had a fabricator who built a cage.
A beautiful one, I'm sure.
Released it. They came back and next day morning, the birds ripped up the whole welding and it's flown and he's around the city looking. So, there also some animals can be very powerful. Things like that. I think, the substrate you use, the sand you use, how much of what tree is it going to be? It can't be, some animals can't be under the mango trees, rabbits can't be under the neem tree. So these are something which you have learned from the last 15 years, you can't
So when you rescue an animal, you immediately have to cater to its needs, right?
Absolutely. And simple. We have a road accident. What do? You go immediately lift him up and pour water. That's death.
Oh,
you never do that.
Okay.
That's death.
That's instinct, right? For us.
Exactly. If you have broken your back or a spine, then immediately I lift you up, it's going to create another pain. if you have internal bleeding and if there is anything in your windpipe or your mouth, and I'm going to make you sit and add some more water into it, it's not going to help.
So rescuing is an art form and then catering to their needs.
Exactly. We've had kingfisher. Somebody called me and said, not the beer, the bird, that we have got it. I have ported it to you.
Okay.
I said, okay, it's ported. We have used porter to some of our animals sometimes, This guy has put it in a shoe box inside a plastic cover and put some air into it and wrapped it because he's a fish keeper. And that's how you move fish.
Okay.
So by the time the kingfisher came, it's dead. So his intention was nice. Okay, he's gone, left office, rescued this, but he doesn't know how to pack.
Oh no, okay.
So now it's a fine line.
Yeah, care is different for...
Absolutely different. And again, if we are raising wild animals, sometimes I don't even have an eye contact with it. Because I know this animal belongs to the wild. I do not want this animal to get used to me. I do not want this animal to have this human imprintation.
Yeah.
So squirrels and all, just feed, and then throw it. Even if they come close, we push it away. Otherwise, you release it, he's going to go run behind humans for food.
Yeah.
But the same thing, I can't do that for my emus. I can't do it for my iguanas. I can't do it for my dogs. I can't do it for my cats. Because they need that. I need to live with them. I give them massages. I give them all of it. So I know if I have to take it to a vet, I should be able to hold any part of the body and show it to the vet.
It should be comfortable. Yeah. Like I said, it opens up so many doors.
Yes.
For someone who hasn't clearly lived this sort of a life.
So your thought process is very important. Sympathy, we all are animal lovers.
Yeah.
We all are doing
on
right.
The superficial level.
We are all doing right.
Say. Yeah.
Everything is right. But if you're an activist, you work in the field of activism.
Yeah.
If you're an educationist, you work in the field. If you want to do research, you stay with research.
Yeah.
Everything is important. We need activists. If you want to promote veganism, that's also important. Veganism, but you stay there.
Yeah.
That cannot come to research. That cannot come to wildlife. Hey, how are you feeding beef to all the animals? It doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Interesting. What is next for Praani? What's your next big project?
This is pretty confusing, to be very honest.
Okay.
Sometimes we feel that running this place itself is a huge challenge, right? Every day. Yeah. Will we be able to scale up? Will we get those passionate people who live everything and stay there and work? That's one. Two, even if we are able to scale up so for me, I want to open something like a interpretation center where it's not only animals. They should get a wholesome, complete ecology idea and have a bigger space. Also, so they'll have one set of animals, then they come and interact with plants, then they come and interact with the whole outdoor space itself, maybe water, maybe. So that is maybe a school, something very similar in a school line, but nothing which will look like a school.
I've seen something like this abroad. It's called the Learning and Living Center.
Oh wow, nice.
Nice. Where they have a culmination of everything.
Nice. Yeah. I think that is the way to go forward. That's one way. But again, if you're looking at the numbers and stuff like that, if you're not going to be in the city, if you're not going to get that everyday people coming in,
walk-ins and
it becomes a huge challenge to move out and have a bigger space. Again, their travel time, all of that counts. So between that, we are really considering what is that we really want to do. Another space in the city, then it's just going to be sometimes too crowded to handle, the long weekends come in. Are you really doing what you want to do?
Really be spares everywhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
And just to handle this big crowd on the weekends, you can't hire more people only to work on Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah.
If you say, I'm going to reduce the number, that becomes your main feed for the whole Monday to Friday. So if you say, I'm going to focus only on schools work only 6 months in a year, the other 6 months they are. So we have to kind of, match the present market. Yeah. And also be very strong on our foundation on where we want to head in the next 5 years. Yeah.
But in terms of animals, you could scale up instead of a more variety of animals.
We can't. Unless and until somebody calls and say, I want to give it to you.
Oh yeah, it's a rescue again. Yeah.
You understand? This is where it is. Everybody, same Praani 7. Yeah, because I don't want to go and just buy a bunch of animals and come. You understand? It
Yeah,
doesn't make
they're not
sense.
meant to be bought. They're meant to be found or rescued.
For us, for people, it's okay. I know owners who went and bought a bird and have kept for 25 years.
Yeah.
They've literally, so it's okay. They consider as a family member. And when the owner died, the bird was in depression. So now you know that the bird has also got some kind of an attachment. You've seen that.
Yeah.
So for some people, it's okay. But for us, we
It's
don't want
not.
to get in that. Yeah.
You said, I mean, there are different kinds of audiences now visiting Praani. I'm guessing all age groups because everyone at some point, at least, is inquisitive of this. I wouldn't say they're okay and they're, upfront, they take the initiative to come there, but at least that curiosity brings them.
Yes,
that extra.
but we've been very clear. We have not marketed anywhere. You won't even see a Praani board anywhere else, because we only have been selling tickets for somebody who walks in with a child.
A child, okay.
Okay, that's when there's meaning. Otherwise, adults will come and say, kuri they make it, why should I?
Yeah.
It's not for them. And at the entrance, that doesn't mean we have shooed away people.
Yeah.
But we tell them, listen, this is an education center. This is for kids. You're not going to get like photograph with all these animals holding up. You can, you would be, but if you come volunteer here, you put some efforts, work here for 1 week, then we'll give you access to do that.
Yeah.
Otherwise I could easily charge, how many celebrities have called me, we want to do a photo shoot there with all the animals. It's a big bill. Yeah. No way, because then what are you doing with your animals?
Who's humanizing them now?
Yeah.
Yeah. I know I've already asked you the question, but what's next for Sanjeev? Forget Praani, but just for you. What are things that you want to go and, explore? And
I really want to, create a system where whether I'm there or not there, this place, these animals and these set of friends who have been setting up would always continue, and there'll always be a positive learning, safe space for kids.
Okay.
In the city. That I'm going to do like a seal the deal program, either it's through the government or whatever it is. I'm going to have one center or convert this center itself for everybody to use. And this should last beyond me. I think that is something which is,
I mean, it's such a, it's such a great way to leave a legacy behind, is to say this has really lived past me.
Yeah.
And helping other people, kids, the future of this country.
Yeah.
So that's great. I mean, and you said education is there a possible tie-up, with an education? I'm putting it out there because a lot of us in real estate have educational institutions as a part of our larger idea of who we should be.
Yeah. Yes, there are certain schools, especially I would want to thank Mitra Academy.
Okay.
So the same set of kids have come 8 times to Praani in the same academic year.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So, and they got to choose, they were said, do you want to go to Praani or we can take you to Mysore, whatever. They said, no, you go back here.
Yeah.
And the efforts that school put in, where we created multiple stuff, they did a biodiversity report, they painted our walls. With that, they actually built a couple of ecosystems, like for our, it could be for our monitors, it could be for our mata turtles. They cleaned up the whole. So when they did all of it, the first thing which I saw is that the future of how a school should be is already unfolding. If this could happen every day.
And the kids could be a part of these efforts.
And trust me, over the period of 3-4 hours, all their energy level is the same. Some of the backbenchers are very smart in the outdoors. Some of the academic guys are very good with, hey, first measure that. Your taping is wrong.
It levels a playing field for them.
Absolutely. And there is multiple ways to teach. If you're a high energy person, I would give you a, hammer or something to actually first do your groundwork and then
bring you near the animals. Yeah.
And if somebody who's really, really submissive and doesn't want to, we start with rabbits, we start with things, so they feel, okay, I can actually interact with this. And then slowly move to a horse, and just that energy and the confidence the child gets, man, we have cleared all of it with no therapies, this is what is happening, come sit.
Oh, this must be magical to watch. I mean, you probably have the world's best job as of now.
Thank you. I think the
Because
team, that was my job 3 years back, but the last 3 years I've been
yeah,
more of like, a management. Hey, why is that
you
not done?
have
Why is
to.
this not done?
Yeah.
How to bring that
Yeah.
here? Yeah, but I want to get back into what I was really doing. That's another thing with opening up organizations. People come, people go.
Yeah.
So you'll have to keep wearing multiple hats depending on what the organization needs.
Needs. Yeah.
Sometimes it's trying to go and explore. Sometimes it's like, oh, there's nobody and we have got so many kids coming in.
Yeah.
So you wear your uniform and get back into action where you started off. So yeah.
And you can't, this training is not something that happens quickly, right? You're bringing a new person on to the team, then it's a few
6
months
to
of work.
8 months.
Yeah.
More than that, it's a family we live in. You'll have to live by
Okay.
the animals. The
Oh,
animals
okay.
has to accept you.
Okay.
We live outskirts, like outside the city, so it's not like you can come up and then 5:30 go back home.
I mean, I must say, you guys must have a tough personal life because
Yeah.
it's rough on a partner to accept someone.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's why every time we come in the city, we're like, wow, what is that? Oh,
The
such a
changes.
colorful.
Yeah.
What is happening there? But also, I would say because I've been living in the outdoors, because I've been living in a farm, I've completely calmed down with whatever issues I had, with whatever, anxieties I've had. If
Yeah.
I'm not in the outdoors, I can't. Like, city is not. So I know a lot of people are living like that.
Yeah.
They either become sports, they get into sports because I have
Yeah,
that high
yeah.
energy. And even in sports in India, it's not like, you have
You
a great
can,
platform.
True. Yeah, and you have to be somewhat of a privileged background person to kind of have that
Absolutely.
those opportunities.
And
also.
you should be lucky enough to start that sport at a young age.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, you can't finish your
True.
engineering and say cricket aadtini. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't
Yeah.
make sense at all.
Your parents will look at you saying, what the hell?
Yeah. So I think we need to start having that also as a lot of career options, Yeah.
Lovely. I'd like to actually end this podcast with one question. If there's something that, say mainstream real estate developers could do, not for Praani, but for the larger intention of, saving or rescuing animals or changing ecosystems, like you said in the Infosys thing, what are the small things that we can do in our projects?
Please, native plants.
Okay.
I'm really fed up with a lot of real estate.
Yeah.
Guys would call me on, oh, we should do this. We have got a big property, And I'm like, okay, all that is secondary. We'll get in an aviary. We'll do all of that.
Yeah.
Show me the list of plants.
Okay.
Everything is exotic. So for them is how minimum maintenance, but maximum greenery.
Okay.
Throughout the year.
Yeah.
So those are non-seasonal trees which are non-native to India.
Yeah.
So they'll get from Africa.
Even the animals, you won't recognize them, I think.
They don't even want to sit on them. They're like, what is this tree? I don't know. Yeah. So you basically, what's the trend? You select trees from Africa, bring that to India. So there's a drought area there. Here it's tropical. So without maintenance, this tree will anyway grow.
Okay.
So first, I think if you guys can change that, it will be a better selling module.
Okay.
Because you're inviting butterflies, you're inviting birds. At the same time, you're also inviting bees and snakes. But that doesn't mean bees and snakes are not coming into your
property
with exotic plants and trees. Because as long as humans are there, as long as food we eat is going to go into garbage, we are going to have rats, we are going to have snakes.
Yeah. I mean, that's how the ecosystem works, right? We all studied the chain. Yeah. And
it works, it is evolved.
Yeah.
Back then, cobras used to be in the forest. Now you go look at the whole of Bandipur, you will not find a single cobra. You go to Majestic, you will find 100 cobras within 2 hours.
We've also taken up their space, so can't complain about much.
Yeah. But space, again, Majestic, it's been there for the last 100 years. We're still finding snakes. So they're living together. Yeah. It's not just space. Yeah.
So, I mean, changing, like you said, native, and I mean, we always say go local. I think we have to go local for this too.
Yes. Very, very important. And again, it's with the real estate or fine line. Do you want to go on a tall raised building and put a lot of people there so that you're saving on a lot of space, which also makes sense? Or everybody should start accepting and have half an acre farm and sit there
Live
and
on.
have a house and grow
In
your own
Bangalore, it's
food.
impossible, Sanjeev.
I know,
we have
I
too
know.
many people coming in.
I know, but we
Yeah.
can still look at vertical gardens.
Yeah.
So many. I had a concept once for a real estate company. They really wanted to do it, but then again, for me to go and make it happen, I didn't have the energy for it. But if you can drive it, I think it's going to be a game changer.
Okay.
Every balcony should be a biodiversity balcony. That's all.
Oh, wow.
And I have a model for it where within 5 hours, we're going to come and set up your balcony and go. All you have to do is sit and enjoy the balcony. It will be automated, watered. We're going to give you 4 native bushes. We're going to give you 2 native plants, which is going to attract butterflies, bees, and create oxygen, whatever X, Y, Z. So it's
Yeah.
going to be functional plants for you.
For you, yeah. That makes sense in the space.
You
Yeah.
should be able to at least make a salad once
Yeah.
in a month.
Yeah.
Maybe not every day.
Yeah.
But if that 10 by 5 or 10 by 20 space into 1,000 houses in an apartment, imagine the amount of green space you have created.
Oh, wow. Oh, those are small things that we can do.
And right now, what's
Yeah.
there? One cycle will be lying there.
Yeah.
It'll
Or
be one
used to,
dirty,
yeah.
used washing machine will be there. Make it a little more better.
Yeah.
Have that greenery right there, so it's outside your house. You're not going to invite any snakes up first floor. There's
Yeah.
another thing. Every apartment, you go to a snake meeting, only the ground floor people will be there because they're getting the snake. Now, first floor,
Yeah.
so I
Yeah.
think this gets involved. I think that if you can drive these green spaces in balcony, huge change.
Oh, then we're going to send some contacts your way. We really need this to work. Yeah, because the next generation can't grow up thinking that milk comes from the store and greens come from the store. Everything can't be the store.
Water from the tap.
Yeah, water from the tap. Those are the answers we're getting now.
All
so
the time. Yeah. Because you've never seen, got connected, you've never been there. No? Kids, crazy.
This is a great takeaway to end the podcast with. Thank you for coming or taking the time off. I know taking a time off the babies that you should be taking care of right now. But thank you so much. And I hope at some point we bring you back on this podcast with kids. We kind of want to see how that interaction works.
You should come to Praani and do it.
Definitely.
You should have like a nice video coming up and, bring your team there so they'll also see what animals are and what we do. I think that will be much more.
Yeah, and we need to break, like you said, the fear. So we have quite a few on the team that are fearful of animals. So nice. Definitely.